$2,400 increase or $1,200 monthly checks specifically focused on Social Security, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I want to discuss with you two topics we've seen in the headlines a lot recently, which is the $2,400 Social Security increase and $1,200 ongoing monthly checks specifically focused on the low income. Now, both of these are very, very different programs, but when we look at the real numbers behind these and how much money these offer to those beneficiaries, they're actually not that far off, and that's what I want to break down for you here in this video. Let's get into it and discuss all those details. However, really quickly before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side each and every day, watching the latest details, hitting the wire, doing the research, and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay posted on what's actually going on and anything popping up right now you can possibly grab and or take advantage of as a low-income or fixed-income beneficiary. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I'm here for you every single day, no matter what. That's my promise, and as always, I'm sticking to it. So again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so, and let's get into it and talk about these two very, very popular topics we've seen in the headlines a number of times here over the last couple months, what it means for beneficiaries, and let me break all the numbers down for you because we will clearly see here in just a minute as I give you all of this information, these dollar amounts are not that far off, even though they seem very, very different from one another. All right, so let me break down the details of these two programs here, one by one here, and we'll clearly see the details of them, and then let me give you all the numbers behind this. All right, so obviously the $2,400 Social Security boost is as a result of the Social Security Expansion Act, where they want to increase Social Security benefits by $200 per month for the next 75 years, which would translate into $2,400 a year, okay? Keep those numbers in mind. All right, now the next one that I'm talking about is a $1,200 ongoing monthly check every single month for the next 5 years out of the Support Act as a guaranteed basic income program, okay? Now, again, over the course of 1 year's time, $1,200 a month is $14,400 a year, right? So I think if we all look at this from, face value right here, we can look at it and say, wait, $200 a month or $1,200 a month, I think I'll take option 2, which is $1,200 a month, right? Yeah, obviously, right? We would look at all of that and clearly we would see the differences there and we would take option number 2. However, let's talk through the details now. Remember what I said there just a second ago. The Support Act, which is the piece of legislation that would offer a $1,200 ongoing monthly check on a nationwide basis for the low income. Remember, 5 years, okay? That's what they want to do is for 5 years this would go out, not 75 years like the $200 per month raise for Social Security as a result of the Social Security Expansion Act. So let's keep this all in mind here. Let me break down the numbers for you really quickly. Check this out, okay? Remember, $1,200 ongoing every single month is $14,400 a year. Over the course of 5 years, check this out, $72,000. It's a lot of money, right? That's great. I mean, that is like, as of right now, that's the national average for a household income over the course of 5 years. Not bad. $14,400 a year would be a lot of money, right? That'd be a really, really nice stuff. Now, let's talk about the other program really quickly, which is $200 a month for 75 years, okay? $200 a month over the course of 12 months is $2,400. Well, clearly we can see the difference here. It's $2,400 a year or $14,400 a year. That's a difference of only $12,000, right? And by the way, when I said only, I'm obviously being sarcastic, right? That's a lot of extra money over the course of just 1 year's time. However, get this, over the course of 5 years, that $2,400 translates into $12,000, okay? So that's what it would come out to. For the first case there, we can clearly see for the Support Act, the $1,200 on a monthly basis over 5 years, $72,000. And then again, we can clearly see in this situation, for the Social Security Expansion Act, the $200 a month or $2,400 a year comes out to $12,000 over just 5 years period of time, okay? So that's a difference of $60,000 over 5 years, okay? So do you think that's a little bit of a difference? Yeah, right? But here's the thing. we got to remember this much as well, and I want to point this out. Number one is the Support Act, the $1,200 ongoing monthly checks is 5 years only, whereas the Social Security Expansion Act, that is a $200 increase for 75 years. Okay, so again, it all depends on what do we want. Do we want more cash up front, as in a lot more cash on an ongoing monthly basis for 5 years, or do we want an extra $200 a month or $2,400 a year basically for the rest of our lives? I mean, 75 years, I think we're probably set. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, obviously, let's all hope that we all live to like 150 or something. But I'm just saying, I think 75 years will probably cover, we're probably good at that, right? So my point is, when we look at the details of these, it's kind of a difference of what do we want? It's kind of like a lottery winning, right? Would somebody rather take the full jackpot, the full cash amount, which is usually a lot less than the actual annuity, right? So when we see all these jackpots that are always announced out there, we always think, oh, wow, it's not 5 billion. I was going to say 5 billion. It's never been 5 billion. Let's just say it's $1 billion jackpot. Wow, that's great. But what they don't tell you is look at the cash option. It's usually about half of that, and then they usually pay another 50% of that in taxes. So a $1 billion jackpot is usually only about $250 million is what you get to take home. So a far, far cry from what the actual advertised number is. My point is, it's the same analogy here, right? Depending on what a person would want. A lump sum payment of less money up front, just like in a jackpot example, or an annuity over the course of 20 years, like in this lottery example that I'm kind of giving you here, right? So kind of the same analogy. What do you want more? The cash up front, or do you want basically more for longer? Kind of makes sense? So anyway, so I want to break this down for you because I've seen some comments and I've seen the details on these. Now, again, I've talked about both of these individually in dedicated videos previously here on the channel, but I've seen some comments coming in saying things like, would we get both of these? Could we potentially be eligible for both? That's actually a great question. The answer would be, yeah, you actually could be. The reason for that is these are two very, very different pieces of legislation that are out there. Now, obviously, as we sit here right now, neither of these, or neither, however you say it, have these have been passed, right? These are still in Congress as we speak, but it is the Social Security Expansion Act for the $200 per month raise and the Support Act for a $1,200 ongoing monthly check per adult for 5 years. So anyway, these are out there. These have been popping up in the headlines a number of times here recently. I've talked about them individually, but thought, you know what? We should talk about these two side by side because kind of an interesting concept here, right? $200 a month, basically indefinitely for the rest of our lives for Social Security if they were to pass that, or $1,200 a month for a quick, 5-year hooray, and then it's over, right? So I don't know. Seems kind of cool, but I guess for me personally, if I had to choose, honestly, I would take the more for a shorter period of time. I would take the $1,200 a month. If I had an option to say, oh, I'll take one or the other, I would take that one because here's the thing. Cash up front today and money in our hands today is way more advantageous. In my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, everybody's situation is different, but I would say that cash up front, money up front in our possession would be way more powerful and advantageous than, waiting it out for the next 30, 40 years or something like that to continuously get $200 a month every single month forever, right? So again, that's just my opinion. I would say, the cash up front would be way more helpful for a lot of people. But I wanted to compare these side by side here so you can clearly see the differences, and you can see even though they seem very different, depends. If somebody were to continue receiving the $200 a month indefinitely for the rest of their lives, it'd probably translate into more money over the course of the entire life. Now, obviously, there's more factors about that, like how long does a person live for, how long does a person continue to get the $200 raise, all the details like that. But it's kind of a gamble when it comes down to it. So anyway, I thought it'd be very interesting to compare these two side by side here. You can clearly see the differences. They're very different programs, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like the same old thing, right? Just depends. Do you want the cash up front really quickly, or would you want, basically the same amount of money spread out over a very long period of time, like that annuity and jackpot example that I gave you just a second ago? So anyway, interesting stuff, but like I said, I want to reiterate this. Of course, neither of these have passed through Congress at this time, but these pieces of legislation are in Congress, just like so many others that are out there as well. floating around. But of course, as I get more details, of course, I'll bring it to you right away, as well as anything else that's popping up out there. There's a lot of different things that are happening right now. It's a very weird and strange time that we're living through. So anyway, please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands upon thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, and catch you again later in the next